And we are live.
Hello.
Hello, Finlit Live family. I hope you're having an amazing day. It's your favorite insurance agent, Donald Jr.
Michelle DeSalle, the Wealth Tattletale.
And this is the show where we teach you about financial literacy. Finlit Live, get it? Financial literacy? You got it. So growing up, I feel like my parents didn't teach me about how money works, and school doesn't really teach you that either. So that's the purpose of the show. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to our show. Today we have a very exciting topic. It's a trending subject: solar. Does solar really save you money? Oh my gosh, it seems like solar panels are so expensive.
And right about now, we're trying to save money any way we can with the way the economy is. So this is going to be some, enlightening information for us, because I'm certain a lot of people have questions about it that just are not in the know.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get lit. All right, so without any further ado, let's bring on our solar panel expert, Nathan Tvrdy. What up, Nathan?
Hi, Nathan. No, Nick.
This is a beautiful. I want to tell a story about this exact name, Nathan. I get that so often. It's hilarious. And one of my
You
friends,
look like a Nathan.
Nolan, oh, sure, I'll take it. One of my friends, Nolan, he gets the same thing. People call him Nathan, and so we call each other Nate affectionately. And so you just gave me a great memory. This is Nate Hours. Let's go.
There you go.
So we're excited to have you here. So tell us who you are and what you've been up to.
Yeah, so my name's Nick Tvrdy. I was born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, where I actually got this degree in sustainable energy from Creighton University. It's been a huge passion of mine, this whole solar thing, like turning sunlight into electricity. It's a really long-standing technology that has some new changes to it over the past decade or so, especially with finances and how you can finance solar to own it, increase your equity.
Your company?
I work with Enlight Energy.
Okay. And how long?
Since a year and a half ago, but I've been in this industry for now 10 years as of next week when I started my degree. So I apologize for going a little long there, but got excited.
So tell me, you mentioned the degree.
Yes.
You have a unique study, a unique discipline of which I did not know that there was a degree program. Share that information with us, please.
Yeah. So I was very blessed, grew up going to the Catholic schools in Omaha. Great education system. I'm very grateful for my experience there, and especially when I made it to college. No other program in the country like stood out to me. I was trying to go to Nebraska, Lincoln, go Big Red for like a physics degree or something like that.
Yeah.
But what caught my eye was a program funded by a huge energy grant to the physics program of Creighton University. So go Blue Jays, right? And I learned from this professor who started the program, who used to work at CERN, which is where they have the Large Hadron Collider, where they were smashing protons and neutrons to see how the Big Bang looked like. If you remember that science story from a few years ago, he taught me physics. So I love this topic, and I get really into the nitty gritty of not just the science, but also the policy, the law, how it makes financial sense. I work as a sales manager in the state of Florida for Enlight Energy. So I do what I love, and I love what I do. So
fantastic. So talking about learning something new every day.
Yeah.
So solar panels, we hear it all the time. We see the commercials, we see the little, advertisements when you're on your computer about solar panels. Give me the skinny on solar panels. What are they?
Yeah. So in a very short, technical, literal sense, what are they? They're just like wafers of silicon that gets extracted from sand. One of the most abundant, resources on Earth. Go to any beach, right? You can scoop up quite a bit. Yeah. And there are processes where it can get made in kind of dirty ways, but they've refined it all across the world, and it's a bit easier to make cleaner panels, especially ones that can get recycled over time. They're encased in aluminum, so it has no chance for rust. And they're just like a really resilient, weather-resistant technology that fits on your roof. So when it comes to what are they, that's literally what they are. But what's the benefit is like, oh my gosh, all these utility companies across the nation are raising their electric rates left and right. Natural gas in particular has seen like 30% inflation just in this past year. And that's the primary fuel source for the nation right now. So I'm here in Gainesville, Florida. Go Gators, University of Florida. It's been really cool to help people out with their utility, which is the most expensive in the state. And we just swap out that electric bill. Here's what I tell people. I knock on doors just like I used to in college, like Darnold did with Southwestern Advantage. We learned so much about like how to get right to the point. And here I am kind of preambling here. What I simply say to people at the door is like, hey, your electric bill is going up because of all these inflation things. And I'm really just here to see if you qualify for the state of Florida's net meter program to secure a lower electric rate. And so they're like, what is this? I don't know what you're talking about. Most people don't know about this. It's a state law that allows you to sell energy to the grid. And so I ask them what their power bill looks like. Oh my gosh, you're spending $200 a month. Here I've seen $300-$400 in Florida, and even as low as $60. You stand to save, or at least do an even bill swap and own your own source of power. So the bill eventually goes away. So most people had to pay in the past upfront thousands of dollars. Not anymore. Banks were like, hey, people pay their electric bills, we'll finance the thing. It's meant to match your mortgage. The average length of the solar loan is 25 years, which can be a little intimidating, but that's what allows it to have that lower electric rate. So instead of totally praising like, solar is going to save the world, get it for free, all these things are like common lies in my industry. All I say is just like, hey, you're getting cheaper electric for your home right now when you finance it. And when you move out in 5 to 7 years, as the average shows for Americans, you can just transfer it to the new homeowner. The beautiful thing, if we're talking about financial literacy, read a solar contract. Whether it's Mosaic is a bank that provides solar loans, GoodLeap, Concert is a really good one that we use and we love. There's so many beneficial things written into a solar contract that when you read it, it's a no-brainer. It's things like, hey, when this solar system isn't producing, this is in the installer contract specifically, when the solar system isn't producing what it's supposed to, you're going to get paid for whatever it doesn't. Like if a panel goes out or there's shade from an overgrown tree, there's all these things that might get in the way of future production. And the contract that you sign just to get the whole process started protects you from any of the worst case scenarios, minus things that fall into homeowners insurance, but that's a further conversation. But yeah, that's a little bit of a preamble there.
My concern is, or just what I don't know. So I've seen them, maybe about 3-4 of them on the roof like that. And I'm thinking, do you have to have one over every aspect of the house? I mean, if they're on top of the living room, will they warm up the bedroom in the back? I mean, or keep it up, whatever. Does that work? How does that work?
Yeah. So what I'll actually explain is that net metering program, right? That I'm talking with people right at the door. Do you qualify for this? What is it, right? So net metering literally means the meter on the side of your home right now is only charging you. When you go solar in 42 of the 50 states, minus a few, like unfortunately in neighbor Georgia to Florida, right? So we can't really open a market as easily in Georgia because in Florida, all the energy that you produce from your solar system, if you size it based on the entire year's worth of usage, which is what we're able to do here, it's like, hey, you need 13,000 kilowatt hours is a common number here. What you need is, 13 a solar system that's about like in the state of Florida, about 9 kilowatts and we can get into, if we want to, the science of what these terms mean. But that size system is what's going to produce 13,000 kilowatt hours. And over the year, if you use that much, it's an even swap, like it's a bill swap where you pay the solar monthly when you finance it, right? It replaces that electric bill cost, and it leaves a little bit called the connection charge because they got to use their meters still, right, to send energy to the neighbors when you're not home during the day. So you build up credits during the day that you pull from at night. You build up credits during the spring when it's sunnier and less rainy here in Florida in particular, so that during the summer when it's rainy and still hot, so you're using a ton of energy, you're not producing enough during that exact month to meet your energy needs, but you're pulling from the spring. It's like rollover minutes, right? Back with, rolling over texting and calling minutes from back in the day. So, yeah.
Wow.
You took it way back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
So
that's
enlightening.
generally how it works.
Thank you.
That's exciting. So, do people really, really save money? Like, before you answer that, you
Sure.
mentioned that if you sell your house, because you said the average person keeps their house 5 to 7 years, what if the new homeowner doesn't want the solar panels? Like, how does that work?
They'll probably find another home. They're not your new homeowners. After all, we're giving them a little too much credit because, first of all, everything solar related with real estate is market dependent. The biggest misnomer in people in my job of being in sales with solar, they're like, oh, it's going to raise your equity by like $50,000 or this or that, a certain percentage. And there's all these like blanket statements and Zillow articles that get thrown out there with no actual context of how this whole equity thing works. Simply put, how it should be done, and this is in certain markets where there's like green rated appraisers that can actually perform a fair assessment on solar, what it should be nationwide, but isn't. In a few states like Colorado, if I go get my home appraised and I have 10 years left on my solar system, I've had solar for 15 years, I've loved it. Now I want to move. And I have a real estate agent who knows how to sell solar. They're not afraid of it. They know how to explain it. It's just a bill swap, right? When it gets appraised, how it could be done, one way is that you have 10 years left. The going market rate for that 10 years worth of energy is several $1,000s, right, that you can roll into as equity for your home. And that would help you pay off and even get a little excess over that remaining balance that you'd have. Does that make sense on the loan? Or if you don't want to pay it all off because there's like money in escrow and stuff that I can't speak to, that makes that complicated. You can actually just hand off the loan. Some of them have like a $300 transfer fee, qualifying fee. But if they're buying a new home, they definitely qualify. They just have to pay to get the loan in their name. That's probably the least savory part of that process. The easiest part is that like most financing companies have dedicated departments to aid in that transfer. So you can know that you just got to have your documents ready. Don't throw them away, right? You should be good.
That is some interesting details.
What is one advice you would give somebody that is exploring the idea of adding solar to their house? Like, one or two things.
Okay. I would say if you're looking to get solar on your home, number one, have a relationship to whoever is helping you get it. We at Enlight pride ourselves in being, leading with truth first, and allows us to, in many cases, I follow up with customers. I'm not knocking on their door. I do knock on their door, set an appointment, follow up. So after I do that, like, I'm not hard closing them. I'm not throwing them into the wolves, and because I encourage you to take your time and do your research. When I was describing the contract, like, it's really empowering when you can get into the details of at least the things that protect you the most, for you to be financially literate and see how good of a thing this is. There's a lot of ways to fund a solar project. What I've seen in my 10 years of doing this is that the easiest way to do it is a longer term loan that has those easy transferable terms, and it's a bill swap. You just pay, in most cases, people are spending like $150 Like here in Florida, solar would be like 130 in a worst case scenario. And so it's easy to justify the monthly savings because over time you wind up when the utility rises, but your bill stays the same, you get a lot of savings on the top. And that's the whole reason why people do it. So,
Okay, I'm
um,
going to ask a solid question
please.
that
Yeah.
everybody wants to know.
Mhm.
How much are solar panels?
Oh yeah, the brass tacks. If I had a stack of cash to throw at a solar system, not the thing with the planets, but the thing with the electrons, um, it's usually around $30,000 for like the average American home. Just point blank, what's the cost? It's anywhere from 15 for a smaller size to I've had a customer that had well over $100,000 solar system installed on his roof in Arizona, where they need a lot of sunlight power to offset the AC. It's hot out there. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, it can be a ton to finance it, right? What's powerful is that cost is really intimidating. But in the case of that $100,000 system cost customer, shout out Michael. Um, he is such a meticulous guy who's like getting into the details, and all that stood out to Michael was like, wow, I would be paying $242,000 with SRP, Salt River Project in Tempe, Arizona, um, and with solar, he's only paying $109,000. So it seems like a huge cost, but people don't realize when they have this automatic bill called your electric bill, you just pay gobs and gobs over, even longer of a time than 25 years, if you have a forever home, of course, but you pay it for your entire life until you own solar. You can break the chain, is what I like to tell people.
Okay, so you answered that question. I have another one.
Go for
So
it.
we're talking about financial literacy, and of course, that includes, adhering to your investment goals and things like that. So if it's $30,000 and you are the salesman,
Hmm.
how are you compensated? And are
Yeah.
these great commissions? And are you able to
Mhm.
invest in your retirement and all of that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
What motivates you to keep on selling solar panels?
That is a really great question. So,
I know.
utilities make a killing on selling you electricity. Solar salespeople make a killing on selling you cheaper electricity.
Okay.
Um, I will
Love
tell you
it.
that
I love
much.
that answer. You
I will
love
tell you
it.
that much. And the reason why I say that is because it motivates me to take such incredible, great care of my customers that they never have to worry about a thing again regarding that solar. If things pop up, yes, there's, warranties that have to get activated 10, 15, 25 years down the road. Who's going to be there? The guy who's been here dreaming about this stuff since sixth grade, I tell you that much. So be looking after, like, hey, how can I find someone who's going to take care of me and go the distance? Because I'm very motivated. Like, I only get paid um, right after the sale is initiated and made, signed up, and then right after the install happens. And I'm always transparent about this, just because of the way this can be revolutionary for people to have a new job, a new career opportunity.
Mhm.
Like, if you're smart, if you get into the details, there's so many features that get like confusing, but if you can explain them as benefits, as lived experiences, as like, hey, there's a hurricane in Florida and a blackout took out the entire coast,
Mhm.
and your home actually has a battery and solar, and it can power itself without having to worry about natural gas supply going out like a generator. It's gonna, like, the sun comes up every single day. There's gonna be cloudy days. That's the worst of it when you are in a blackout, but that's like the benefit of being able to have solar to keep you still going. You can do a lot with these benefits that stack up in your solar experience. So, kind of rambling now, but
Okay,
you
so
have
now
another question.
let me help you from stop that rambling. So
Thank
now
you.
we know how your commissions are and what um, and how much the solar panels are. How do you make your wealth grow? What do you do as an individual concerning your finances and investments?
Yeah. So, admittedly, I am still in debt payoff mode. So that's my own directive right now. Here's a cautionary tale. I, in my 10 years of being in the solar industry, did 5.5, 6 of those years as a student. And when I got into solar sales, there's a thing called the solar coaster. I want to speak to anyone who's interested in what a career like this looks like. It's good pay, right? And you're still saving people money, and you might as well like give them that same peace of mind. And as you're doing it, find a good company that's going to take care of you and be truthful and not overcharge their customers because they see even more margin. They're like, I'm not going to sell on savings. I'm going to just sell on, whatever they make up. They throw in little goodies. And solar companies that like have to mask the benefits of solar with other benefits. I understand it. It's a very reasonable thing to do, especially when everything regarding energy and comfort of running your AC in the summertime, of running your heater in the wintertime, like there's a really big benefit that can be had when you can strike a balance of energy efficiency and production. So don't find companies out there that are like overinflating prices. I've been at those companies before, admittedly, and like genuinely, I'm embarrassed by saying this, but this is my 9th solar company that I've worked for.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I say that again as a cautionary tale. Like I'm resilient. I'm more dedicated to the industry than other people that make admittedly like false promises or overpromise and just under deliver. Poor leadership. I've learned a lot and lessons from every single person that I have joined in business with. But there's just the wild west with the solar industry right now. It's interesting when you look at other industries like real estate, which is very adjacent in a lot of ways. It's literally just under the solar, but real estate, you have like a lot of regulations. Solar, zero when it
Oh,
comes to the sales side of things.
wow. Okay.
I don't have to get a license. I happen to have a degree. I haven't met anybody else besides my classmates that have a same or similar degree. And it is rare. There are people out there who have very specialized knowledge in solar that are way smarter than me about it. And I love that. It's a whole enterprise, there's a lot to be said. I'm curious what questions y'all have next. Arnold, do you have any questions for me? You've been letting Michelle ask all the
You
questions.
can do like Michelle. Michelle keeps coming from. Be quiet, Michelle. Go ahead.
Here.
Hey, I told you I was an inquiring mind.
I love it. I love it. That's probably why I have a doctorate.
So if somebody wants to get started, like from this time they say, okay, Nick, yeah, we want to do solar to install, like how long is that process? How long does that take?
Always regional, 3 to 4 months where I'm at and in most of the country. The reason being, once you sign up, it's as simple as, all right, now we have to get your design confirmed, and that can take a week to 2 weeks, just because of the way that the design process has to get made for permits to then get submitted. And that process can take up to a month. I've seen way worse on permitting, and we do everything at Enlight to prevent that. That's what I'm kind of getting into the weeds and helping our operations and support team right now, more than sales actually, is helping speed things along, because it's a whole month and a half to 2 months before the job gets installed. And then after that, it's more waiting. You got to wait for the inspection to happen, which is a week to a month to happen. And then once the inspection passes, which isn't common anymore, all these inspectors are getting really, really nitpicky, and all these installers are getting loose on their standards because there's such a high volume, and I hate it. I show up on site. I used to be an installer myself, project manager. I used to be on site. Everything we do with technology today, I could do by hand. And I establish a standard, and that experience is where most of the slowing down happens, right? That 3 to 4 months can turn into 6 to 8 months sometimes. Wow. When these things don't get handled properly. And so making sure the install is good, the inspection passes, then it's called PTO. We love our paid time off. This one's permission to operate. Turn that switch on, power your home with solar. It's going to be a really memorable date for some people. What we want to do a bit more of is like barbecues and stuff like that. Make it like a communal thing for people, just to
Nice.
see that, hey, this is a whole process, but we're here along with you. You know, we're very tied to the Gainesville community. We want to be tied in every community that we're a part of nationally moving forward. We're in a lot of states right now, but the 3 to 4 month process is pretty consistent across the U.S.
So one last question before we open up to the audience.
Yeah.
One of the things I hear about Tesla is they have solar panel roofs. Like, what
Oh,
are
okay.
your thoughts on that
Yeah,
and your
yeah.
take on the solar panel roofs?
Yeah, so first of all, what an interesting person Elon Musk. You know,
Right?
everything that this man's done, you can love him, you can hate him. I've done both in my times of observing his, public image. And he's just another person, very rare dude to come up with like, wow, a solution to make this whole aesthetic concern of big rectangles on your roof
Right.
into
Yeah.
this sleek and beautiful and resilient roof. I've learned a ton about roofs since getting into the solar industry, since they're like cousins or whatever. And so roofs and solar, though, as a separate two trades, are very, very specialized in that it's hard to get to find someone who can do both to code and do that install work. And
Mhm.
so the labor cost itself is one of the most expensive, solar offerings on the market today. Along with the cost of the, you know, panels, modules, whatever you want to call them, the shingles themselves. They also have had fire concerns because they have to be so thick, and there's a lot of heat that gets built up in there.
Mm.
So Elon Musk, this isn't me defaming him. He's a great maker of cars. Those things are crazy, spaceships, I tell you. But he admittedly said that the shingles weren't handled properly. They were kind of a mistake on his company's end. What they do now, they only sell just regular solar panels on the top of the roof, and they have panels that I believe are American made. I think they recently started doing that in house with Tesla. What I know is the case when I've competed with them in like comparisons is that they did have Hanwha panels, which are a Korean-based company, and we've always, wherever I've worked, had the ability to access those Tesla panels. Really, any solar broker worth their salt. That's someone like myself who's in sales. They've got multiple install partners based on whatever region you might happen to be in, so that I can help you, wherever you're at in the country, save on your energy bill. Yeah, um, it's very advisable to have a good reputable one, but I lost my train of thought.
Very
Sorry.
good. No. So, how can people get a hold of you? And while
Yeah.
you're doing that, if you have any questions for Nick, go ahead and type in the chat your questions, and we'll be happy to
Mhm.
share that.
Got
But
it.
how can people reach out to you?
Yeah, so I just have a cutesy Instagram name, Nikki T398. Nikki T was my nickname in grade school, but that's just my Instagram. If you want to reach out, I know most people are social, but LinkedIn. We also have Instagram, Enlight Energy HQ in Florida. My phone number, if someone wants to put that on screen, I can even put that in the chat here. Is 402-906-3031. And yeah, I'm an open book. What I've learned in my time on Earth is that not enough people are like having earnest and hopeful conversations about a
Mhm.
better future, and we get to be the ones that have that, not just for ourselves. Because I'm a little selfish. I'm just trying to like feel good about my time on Earth,
Yeah.
and what I'm doing for the people on it as well. But yeah, you can too. Let's do this whole solar revolution thing, and go team. I love my team Enlight. We're doing a quarterly training this week. So if you're curious, please reach out. We would love to bring a sharp stud on our team and teach you the ropes. It's pretty fun to save people money.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, we really do appreciate your time.
Thank you
Of
so
course,
much.
you are very knowledgeable. We
Well,
could tell
thanks.
you have years of experience. So, and I love that you're still passionate, still 10 years later into the industry. So
All
that's
right.
so rare. And keep going, man. Like the
Thank you.
way our earth is going, and the way we're treating our environment, like we need to do something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for indulging me with my good nosy self.
I won't stop you from asking more questions now or any other time. So
Thank you so much. This has been so insightful. Answered certainly a lot of my questions because it's always just been a mystery to me. So
oh yeah.
thank you very much,
Yeah.
and I'm certain it has been for a lot of others. And
Good.
this has been great,
Yeah.
Mr. Nick,
Well,
TV ready.
that's me, TV ready, and this is like TV. And again, thank you both so much for hosting me. For anybody, like, here's another little soapbox. It'll take me 30 seconds. If you're ever depressed about like the planet and like what you can do to save the planet, we are definitely hurting it. There's no lie. But the things to know is that, hey, this isn't all on individuals. It's on us as a team human. And if we can incentivize and motivate people to save money or eat better, cheaper and healthier, and have their own like means to grow their own food, and take care of their like slice of independence, whether it be energy or otherwise, like financial independence. There's so many ways that you can take care of yourself. It'll help you take care of your neighbors, help us clean up the planet, have the time and energy to do so. So let's transition to clean energy, clean food, clean water, clean air, and good
Yeah.
friends. So yeah, that's
Good stuff.
my
Good
message.
stuff. Good stuff.
Love it. Cool.
So yeah.
I think you missed your calling. You should be a motivational speaker.
Oh well, that's definitely on the agenda later in life for sure. But hey,
Excellent.
thank you all.
We'll talk soon.
All right, bye.
Later.
Ooh, yeah.
He's
Hey,
so knowledgeable.
My brain is bitter because I know more stuff now.
That's right. I got a couple more wrinkles.
Yes.
A couple more wrinkles. Yeah, Nick is so knowledgeable.
Yes, he is.
So,
Great guy. Great guy.
Absolutely.
I love his energy and his enthusiasm. You can always feel when a person is doing something because it's a passion for them,
Absolutely.
as opposed to, hey, it's the way that I make money, right?
Absolutely.
So it's really good to see.
Absolutely. Well, keep up the good job, Nick, and we wish you good success in the future. And so if you're interested in solar, definitely reach out to Nick. He'll be happy to answer any and every question that you have. And you can tell how knowledgeable he is. And I really enjoyed this episode. It's really cool.
Too. So, Darnold, if our listeners want to get in touch with you, how can they?
Yeah, so they can reach out on Instagram, Darnold Jr. It's my name, JR, like you see on the screen. And how can they get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me on Instagram at Michelle DeSalle, the Wealth Tattletale.
Absolutely.
Please go look me up.
Absolutely. So if you got any value out of today's show, definitely smash that like button. Subscribe to Finlit Live on YouTube. Our goal is to grow our audience to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're about 330 right now. And so it's going to be great. It's going to be a great run towards the end of the year to hit our goal. And so in addition to that, we have an event coming up. It's a couple months out, but now's the time to start advertising it. On October 1st, we're going to have a conference called Boost Your Sales Skills Conference. I've been in this sales business for over 2 decades now, 20 years, and we're going to teach everything from how to connect with people quickly, how to read people like a book. How would that be if you read people and you're reading things that they didn't realize they were advertising?
Yeah.
And then also, this is for anybody that's a business leader, a sales professional, obviously, anybody that's a leader in their industry. You want to be at this event because it's going to revolutionize how you communicate and how you view how other people communicate with you. So super excited about it. If you go to finlitlive.com, the link is on there. You could go straight to the Eventbrite and you could register. We have an early bird special going on till September 1st, so you definitely want to grab that. And it's going to be really, really exciting.
And I can vouch for the guy that's going to be teaching this because I sat in one of his classes the other day, and this guy, he knows some good stuff. Pretty smart guy.
Just been doing this a long time. Everything I learned from somebody else.
But in order to be able to apply that and be able to then, everyone that knows something they do not know how to teach that something.
That's true.
Right? So you have that skill set. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, my claim to fame is I was horrible when I first started. And so I'm not a natural sales professional at all. And so I had to learn it the hard way, just through the hard knocks and just asking the right questions and being persistent and consistent. So because I'm not natural, I understand why people do what they do.
Right.
And so, and I'm able to transfer that knowledge to you guys. So super excited to have you. Super excited for October 1st. So please be there. It's going to be great. So once again, we appreciate you for jumping on our show today, and we appreciate you guys for getting lit.